It's Indiana in the morning. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for being with us. It is a beautiful morning out there, just a gorgeous morning, sunny. And, well, it's so sunny that they went ahead and they had coffee and donuts and didn't bring me any. Indiana Borough building today. Nicole Sipos is with us, a little chamber event there.
We did.
And you're back in the building.
We are back in the building. We're open and up for operation. Yeah. We still have a few more punch lists to go through. So we're hopefully by the end of September, we're going to kind of have an open house to get everybody in there to kind of take a tour. But our first council meeting will be on the 2nd there. So we'll be all ready for them for the council meeting.
Our visit is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com, 4 years in a row for them. And, well, you got a chance to look at the building. I should introduce Nicole Sipos and Trajan Jones with us this morning. What did you think?
Everybody's really impressed. I mean, you're walking in now. There's still some old stuff in there. You know, a lot of the stuff, the heating and electric and all that's updated. The new windows and the offices, the council room is probably one of the biggest changes that we had. We kind of changed the layout around.
Reconfigured it?
Yeah, and but it's going to be maybe a more professional setting, you know, moving forward for our meetings, and hopefully we'll have a lot accomplished in there. The first big meeting on the 2nd, we have a pretty big agenda coming up, and one of the biggest things is going to be Trajan's zoning ordinance that he's been working on for a year and a half now, and out in the public. I know he's been on here probably a couple times with Jeff Rakes and that talking about it, but it's exciting to see it finally come.
Yeah, Trajan, that's you think of that. People hear zoning and they think, oh, that's a headache. But somebody has to actually make that stuff and make it work. And there's a good reason for having zoning. And so, you know, when you undertake a big project like that, it's going to take a while. Yeah. But you want to get it right.
Right, exactly. You know, it's not something that we want to just put together and then have to, you know, go through over the years doing updates and ordinances or changes to ordinances. Which is one of the reasons why we did this full update right now, is because over the years our past ordinance has been changed little bits here and there, which after a while it started to contradict itself, which made enforcement tough and made application processes tough. So that was kind of our main goal with this new ordinance, was to increase flexibility, allow for the development that has been recommended through our comp plan, but then at the same time also to just streamline the approval process. So we don't have any more long paragraphs explaining what you have to do. Now it's kind of more step-by-step guided. So we have a lot more graphics in there in regard to land uses that you can use in each zone. So I'm excited for it. I think people will like it. Like I said, it's user-friendly, so we're looking forward to getting this adopted.
Yeah, the work that you have to do involves, of course, you literally have to go word for word.
Right.
Through everything that you have and find out, you know what fits best where.
Right.
And so when we talk about property uses, that's one thing. What are some of the other areas of zoning that you dealt with this?
Design is a big one. So not necessarily how buildings look specifically, but more so how a neighborhood would look. So the kind of juxtaposition between the public spaces and the private spaces, that's something that the zoning covers. Aside from that,
rental places.
Rentals,
rentals. We're trying to adapt. We work closely with IUP. You know, you have eventually, if IUP is going to grow, you'll have overflow of the students. Where do you put those students? That's in consideration. I do like how they did a lot of outreach on this and really got from the comp plan and really got the ideas from the residents and the surrounding areas. You know, they worked with IUP, White Township, and to come up with this.
Yeah, that was a big point for us on our side in terms of the borough planning department, is we wanted this to be a transparent process. So we've done multiple events. We had a 15-person steering committee comprised of residents of the borough, developers, student housing owners, things like that. So I think it's definitely representative of where the borough is and where it wants to go. But at the same time, like you said, that was a big thing for us in terms of transparency. So to that same regard, over the next, I guess would be 2 weeks now, up into the adoption process, it's an open comment period. Anybody can come into the office, take a look at. We have a physical copy of the ordinance and the proposed map. They can offer feedback on it, and then we take that into consideration prior to the full adoption of it. So,
Would you say that it's massive changes?
no, certainly not massive. No, like I said, I think nothing is becoming necessarily more restrictive. Like I said, I think the idea of it was to make things more flexible, allow for more different types of development, and bringing it up to a modern standard. A lot of the uses that were mentioned in the prior zoning ordinance were antiquated, so they're things that you don't necessarily see anymore. And so we're also looking at the future in terms of new development or new things that you may see, breweries, different types of uses, like I said, that have changed over the last 20 years since we had the original document.
New definitions in business all the time. Yeah.
I think it's a positive thing, you know, with the upgrades of signage and usage of the signs. And some of the old, doing this research, and, you know, it's funny because you run across these old ordinances that still related to things from, you know, 100 years ago that really.
Don't park your buggy on Main Street. Yeah.
So it's
You know,
exciting.
always tie the horse up to the post, to the hitching post, but not to the utility pole, all those things.
Yeah.
No, and people, you know, they may, when they first look at it, you know, think it's a big change because probably the most noticeable thing is the zoning districts themselves have new names. So they're new names, but they're still essentially the same. We still have 3 residential districts, 2 commercial districts, a public district, and so on. So, like I said, they're still the same, just under new names.
Yeah. What pops into my mind, having you here in the studio and talking about this and zoning and everything, is, of course, a town changes all the time. If a town doesn't change, it becomes stagnant, and there's nothing new happening. So certainly the 8th Street corridor headed toward IUB campus. You're here. I'm sure you're very much involved in what's going on there too. Right?
Yep. And that's a good example for, like you said, of change happening within the borough and why the zoning ordinance is so important for that. So the zoning ordinance right now, I believe what that is zoned would be, I want to say R2, but I'm not positive. But in the new ordinance, it's mixed use. So that allows for new commercial uses to go in there. It complements that idea of a pedestrian corridor. So it's not just housing and just kind of properties. There's a point to being there. It creates place, essentially.
Yeah.
And I know they've been out. They were at Third Thursday with a map, and the visuals that they bring, I think, helps a lot. So if people want to get online, come to the meetings and see that, because when you just talk about 8th Street corridor, you're like, oh, just a walkway. But when they bring out like designs and maps, it looks so neat. It's almost like, we want to do that.
We could have that.
Yeah, we could have that. How do we get that?
Yeah.
So it's exciting. So I hope that's definitely all online. Again, our communication need, and she does a great job keeping everything up to date. Sign up for our newsletter. That's all that information is on our newsletter.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there are roundabouts in this too.
There are.
I'm never going to let you out of here without talking about roundabouts.
No, and I appreciate that. That's to your point on change. You know, the more you mention these things, normalize it in people's minds, it helps us down the line so that then it's not just this brand new change. It's roundabouts out of nowhere. You know, there's kind of breadcrumbs that have led up to that development. So that's
Drive
good.
Everywhere. You're going to hit a roundabout.
I'm going to one of these days, someone's going to say, "Yeah, they have roundabouts. I hear them talking about them all the time." What else is going on, Nicole?
I think that's it. Just getting ready for the council meeting. Our sidewalk program, it's going to be up and running here shortly. We're still waiting on things from the engineer. We have some grants in the works.
There have been meetings having to do with the 8th Street corridor. Are there anything planned for that, future meetings?
Yeah, so I guess the next public meeting will be the charrette itself, which is just a public design session, and that'll be on September 25th and 26th. It's going to be a 2-day event, all day, both days, free, open to the public, and that's going to be at the Artist's Hand, which fortunately I don't know the address off the top of my head, but I know it's the corner
Next
of
block
8th
up.
and Philly. Yeah, corner of 8th and Philly.
Charette. Don't you love that word?
I do.
Do you? The definite. We put that on our website. Like the definition of charrette.
I like that word almost as much as I like the word roundabout.
Yeah. No, but I guess something else to mention too that relates to the zoning ordinance is we've left open a section for historic preservation. So that'll be something that's kind of on the horizon. We just completed the cultural resource survey, which looked at all the properties within a specific boundary in the borough to be considered in this. And there's a process going on right now between us, the Pennsylvania Historic and Museum Commission, and then the National Registry to get this recognized as a national historic district.
Yeah.
And like I said, on the back end of that, that's another thing, you know, people that hear historic preservation, they get a little nervous, you know, will this limit what I could do on my property, X, Y, Z? And that's not the case. You know, we're doing this the same as the zoning ordinance. We want it to be a bottom-up approach. So we're going to be hosting public meetings for that. We're going to be reassembling our HARB, which is the Historical Architectural Review Board, which is similar to a steering committee. It's comprised of residents and professionals within this field. So they'll be able to guide the ordinance in that perspective of meeting the needs and wants of borough residents.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's not something that we're putting on them. We want it and we see it as something that'll be a benefit and a positive for the different neighborhoods or properties that are included in it.
As with anything, the more the public participates in events such as that, the less likely they are to be surprised when something happens.
Right. And the more it is to reflect what they want. So yeah, I'm glad you made that distinction because it is important.
That chance to provide input is really, really
It is important. Trajan, they put a lot of work into this. I'm really proud of the work he's done with the community and getting this ordinance updated.
Terrific. All right. Well, there are things happening in Indiana Borough, and pretty soon we'll be hearing about a public announcement about a ribbon cutting at the new old building.
The new old building. That's right.
On North 8th. Beautiful. Hey, thanks, folks, for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Just about 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. And on the way, Boomer Sports. And it's brought to you by S&T Bank, People Forward Banking. Matt in the newsroom, he's coming up too.
Your happy place could be a reading chair in a south-facing window, a porch for your vegetable garden, or a flower garden that gets sunshine all day. And S&T Bank wants to help you get it. With an S&T Home Equity Total Line of Credit, you can afford to make it a reality and also afford all the extras to make it perfect. Whether it's outdoors or indoors, S&T Bank opens doors. Learn more about a Home Equity Total Line of Credit at stbank.com or visit a local branch. S&T Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Bart Winkler with a Sports Minute. The Cleveland Browns quarterback room is taking shape. It'll be Joe Flacco as the starter, and the two rookie QBs battling for the backup job.